The trade activity has started to pick up. You've asked for it. The Calgary Flames, Dallas Stars, and New Jersey Devils obliged. This is our trade deadline coverage here on the fourth period, presented to you by our good friends at CCM Hockey. Dennis Bernstein, Dave Pagnotta. We got a trade to talk about. The Dallas Stars acquiring Chris Tanev from the Calgary Flames through the New Jersey Devils. Calgary eats half of that contract of Tanev. The New Jersey Devils eat a total of 25% of the total deal. They get a fourth-round pick out of that. Calgary gets a second-round pick, a top defensive prospect in Dallas' system, and a conditional pick as well. Tanev's off the board. It did not cost Dallas a first-round pick, DB. First reactions to this one.
An after-office hours trade, first of all, Dave.
And Calgary likes to do those.
Exactly. Great move for Dallas. They were looking for a right-side defenseman. They got one in Chris Tanev. They didn't pay the first-round price that a lot of people speculated they would be. And I guess right now Brad Treliving's kind of shaking his head saying, okay, why not us? But a great move by Dallas, great move by Jim Nill. Really didn't give up much at present. And, Calgary might get futures. The question now, Dave, is what happens with Noah Hanifin in Calgary?
Yeah, well, Noah Hanifin, what happens with Sean Walker in Philly, with Matt Dumba in Arizona, and so on and so on. I reported earlier today, the initial asking price included a first-round pick for Tanev. And that's the same thing that Arizona was looking for Dumba, Philly was looking for Walker. This is going to change that landscape because teams are now saying, well, Dallas didn't give it up for Tanev. We're not giving it up here. So that'll modify things certainly a little bit. And by the way, I spoke to some Stars players this evening. They're not only ecstatic about the fact that they add Tanev to the lineup, they are in awe of their general manager bringing in Tanev at a 25% clip over his full contract. That is some great cap gymnastics by Dallas. Yeah, you have to pay a little bit extra with extra picks, but this is something that they feel the players do very excited about and allows them to kind of stabilize that back end and maybe even give them more flexibility to potentially add to it. But DB, you mentioned Hanifin. That's going to cost a first-round pick, a top prospect, and potentially something else. Where do you see the fit there?
New Jersey, possibly Boston. That would be another place. He's from Boston. And, of course, because he's 26 years old, I think, Tanev's 34 years old. You're getting a player that's 8 years younger. So certainly the haul will be more. Now, of course, you have to sign him to an extension. But certainly if you don't get a first-round pick for this player, fine. But you're right, Dave. It sets the market for the lesser players, and it sets it lower, to be honest with you. Because, again, there's a lot of speculation about that. But, look, I picked Dallas to get to the Cup final and lose to Carolina, so I'm doubling down. Great move. It makes them even more solid. I don't think they need much up front, to be honest with you. Now, maybe they look because of the Sagan injury. But, again, I think a great move by Nill and I guess a mandatory move by Craig Conroy. You couldn't let – despite the fact that Calgary's playing really well right now, you can't let that guy go without getting some assets in return because you're not going to re-sign him.
Yeah, similar situation, obviously, with Tanev. They have a few other pending UFAs, even though the Flames are, at least on paper, and by the looks of things, still in the race for the playoff spot. They wanted to maximize the return there. We'll obviously wait and see how this affects the rest of the market with Philadelphia's assets, both Walker and Nick Seeler, Anaheim, Ilya Lyubushkin on the back end, and, of course, Dumba and several other players that are being discussed. So the first one, I guess, since All-Star break, before Lindholm was dealt and Monahan, this adds a little bit of spice to things. Maybe this opens up the floodgates a little bit, DB.
Let them slow down, Dave. Let them slow down until like March 7th or 8th. Let's slow down a little bit.
I'm good with the trickle effect. Let's get the trickle effect in there. One nice big deal every day.
Okay,
and then
all
bam.
Right. For the next, 9 days, you want that? Okay, I guess one trade a day wouldn't be bad.
We'll take it. GMs, keep going. This is great. Dennis Bernstein, Dave Pagnotta, our coverage here of the trade deadline presented to you by CCM Hockey. We'll catch you tomorrow.